Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I am looking at the Tennessee Titans 2020 season preview. Let me know what you think of the video, like and subscribe for more content. I've got plenty more coming over the next few weeks. I hope you enjoy.
Is it getting cold in here?
So 2019 was a great season for the Tennessee Titans. They went 9-7 in the regular season, which was alright. But then they made a great playoff run with the offense on Derrick Henry's back all season, carried them to the conference game. They beat the Patriots and the Ravens in the playoffs before losing to the Chiefs, which is no shame as obviously they went and won the Super Bowl. But it was their lockdown D and the running game which really served the Titans well in 2019. So looking to the schedule for 2020, it's a fairly average schedule. It's the 13th easiest, so kind of middle of the road. Their hardest games are versus the Colts and the Texans twice, obviously being divisional rivals, and they go to the Broncos, Vikings, Packers and Ravens, and they host the Bills and the Steelers. So the quarterback at the Tennessee Titans, and Ryan Tannehill was kind of perceived to be a step back at the start of 2019 when they signed him, but it was actually due to him that they reached the playoffs. He was 7-3 as a starter when he took the job off Marcus Mariota, and while a lot of people call him a handoff merchant like Jimmy Garoppolo, he's a very good thrower. He racked up 2,700 yards in 10 starts with 22 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. And a major factor in the Titans' success was his patience in the pocket. He only fumbled 6 times in 2019, far less than a lot of quarterbacks in the league. And he didn't feel it necessary to force passes into crowded areas and therefore only leading to 6 interceptions. The Titans scheme looks to target deep middles of the field on a lot of plays, lets him air the ball out, which is what Tannehill is really good at. It fits him better than the West Coast offense than he had in some of his years at the Dolphins, which, screen plays, short passes that really didn't suit him well. But now he seems really comfortable in this Titans offense. So at running back, we obviously cannot talk about the Titans without talking about Derrick Henry. He was the man that took them so far in 2019. He had 1,700 all-purpose yards, the most rushing yards in the league, the most rushing yards per game. His fight after contact, stiff arm. He's deceptively quick for a big guy, and he's happy with a large workload. He's happy to keep running all day long. Those are just some of the things that make Derrick Henry him and make him so good in the league. And I think he's going to be their workhorse for the next few years to come at least. You look at him and he looks like a big guy, someone that's a real power back, but he can really open up and turn the burners on and leave a defender behind in the open field. So do you think that Derrick Henry will lead the league in rushing yards again in 2020? Let me know now. So on the offensive line, they lost Jack Conklin in the 2020 offseason, who was very good last year, but they took Isaiah Wilson in the first round in the draft to replace him. And they also retained all of the other starters on the O-line. As a whole, that O-line was graded 8th by PFF overall in 2019. So they lose one starter, but replace him with a first-round draft pick. So I expect the O-line to be solid again coming into 2020. You've got the 3 starting wide receivers, all really good quality, but Humphries was injured for a lot of 2019. But if all of them are fit, it's a really quality unit. Combine that with Jonnu Smith at tight end, and they look to be a real offensive machine moving forward. And those 4 players that I just mentioned, the 3 wide receivers and Jonnu Smith, contributed 2,300 yards, and that's with quite a few injuries and not starting some of the games. So it does look like a real unit with Tannehill and Henry as well. On the defensive line, the Titans were 9th best in the league at defending the run in 2019 in terms of yards per carry, but Jarrell Casey has left. He was the star at the front of the 3-4 defense, and Isaiah Mack steps up behind him. The linebackers were the real stars of the front 7 in 2019. Harold Landry had 9 sacks. Backup outside linebacker was a nice surprise. Kamale Correa, he had 5 sacks, and Rashaan Evans also performed really well. However, the real stars of the Titan D are the secondary, and it is juiced in terms of talent. It is really good. The combination of Adoree Jackson, Malcolm Butler, Kenny Vaccaro, and Kevin Byard is unreal. At times in 2019, though, Malcolm Butler didn't live up to expectations, but the addition of Kristian Fulton from the draft will really add competition for places and make sure that everyone's on their game in 2020. So who do you think on the roster will make the biggest impact for the Titans in 2020 other than Derrick Henry? Go and let me know now in the comments. So looking towards the coaches, and head coach and defensive play caller Mike Vrabel has led the Titans to 9-7 in his first 2 seasons, And I'd expect him to stay around for a while, as long as he can keep the defense firing well and he can really get that high caliber secondary firing, get them performing as well as they are on paper. He'll be fine for years to come. And offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, his first season was very impressive, as we've already touched on. Massive amount of yards per game, and getting the Tannehill Henry tandem working really well. And he's been with the franchise since 2011. So looking towards the transactions for the Tennessee Titans in the 2020 offseason, and they traded Jurrell Casey, as I've already mentioned, to the Broncos for a 7th round pick. Again, I do think this is massively undervalued. He's been a great player for them the last couple of years, so to only recoup a 7th round pick for him is quite shocking, to be honest. Looking towards the draft, they obviously took Isaiah Wilson in the 1st round, as I mentioned, to replace the spot at right tackle left by Jack Conklin. And as mentioned, Kristian Fulton adds some good size and speed to the Titans' cornerback position, which is already strong. They then drafted Darrington Evans from Appalachian State. He's going to be Henry's backup running back, and he's going to be utilised a lot in the passing game. He ran a 4.41 40-yard dash at the combine, so he's a very quick guy out the backfield that adds another dimension to the running back core. So in free agency, they had quite a few people that left, but they also brought in some players. So their notable leavers were Dion Lewis, Cam Wake, Jack Conklin, Delaney Walker, Logan Ryan, and Marcus Mariota. But they brought in Jack Crawford, Vic Beasley, and Ty Sambrailo, all from the Falcons. And then Jonathan Joseph, and they extended Correa's contract, Tannehill, Dennis Kelly. So, they are trying to keep some continuity there. They placed the franchise tag on Derrick Henry, but then they declined Corey Davis's 5th-year option, which is slightly surprising. He's been a fairly good wide receiver for them, but they picked it up for Adoree Jackson. Overall, I think it's going to be another really, really good year for the Tennessee Titans. They have a slightly easier schedule this year as well than they did in 2019, so I'm expecting a couple more wins potentially. I'm going to say a floor of 6-10, on the off chance that Ryan Tannehill regresses back to his form that we saw at the Miami Dolphins. And if Henry picks up an injury or something like that, then they could be in trouble. But 13-3 is probably their ceiling. If they can win some of those road games at Bills, the Ravens, and the Broncos, then they'll definitely top the AFC South, and they're going to make a deep run into the playoffs like they did last year. So as ever, let me know your predictions for the Tennessee Titans. How I've been too kind, too harsh? Let me know in the comments now what you think about them. So thanks for making it to this stage of the video. As I've said, let me know in the comments what you think about the video, if you agree with my predictions, if you disagree, if you like the video style, and make sure to like and subscribe. I've got a lot more similar content coming out over the next few weeks. Until the next one.